Welcome back to Business and Politics. We're talking to Mr. Joy Concepcion. So we're going to circle back to agripreneurship because, agriculture is such a big issue these days. And, what I find interesting is that, when you mentioned former Secretary Dar, and, we often cite him as quoting that, the farmers are aging and that maybe like 2 years ago he was already saying in about a decade from now we may be facing a shortage of farmers. But it seemed to me that just what you're doing with Calap, maybe is that the answer to maybe getting younger Filipinos to go both into entrepreneurship and into the agriculture sector? Is that how you see it, or am I just imagining something else?
No, we should see a farmer driving a BMW. Then that's the real inspiration. In other words, if farmers can make money, more people will get into farming. But if you see a farmer in a tattered T-shirt, no slippers, how will you inspire others to go into it? And that is in the minds of people how a farmer looks today. So, and that's why I guess that's why the group is challenged to see what can we do. And to me, yes, big business, we're comfortable. But if we want to improve and reduce the level of poverty, the best way is to face it on. Big brothers in business, I mean, when I look at myself with RFM, okay, I could have just focused all my time here, but then again, we're just passing through this earth.
Right.
So we have to find a way how to contribute. We make good money, but we have to teach people on how to make that same wealth. We have to teach them how to create wealth for themselves. Dole-outs really don't help. And the best way to teach them is to help them, either as a big brother in the sari-sari stores. Many of them are already helping. So in fairness, a lot of big corporations are trying to focus on MSMEs. But the biggest challenge is still agriculture.
Sure. So, how do you make it sexy? Because when you look at technology is very sexy, in some cases even mysterious. Agri-sector could be perceived as old school, right? But as you said, there's a lot of opportunities in it. What can be done, you think, to change the perception?
Well, hopefully the big brothers are able to get these farmers who are willing to be part and grow into their value chain. It's like us. We have embraced the sari-sari stores to be part of our value chain. We give them the best deal. We give them whatever they need to improve their sales.
Right.
And that's why you can see it's working. They're surviving and they're doing well. And they grow up to become bigger stores.
Right.
In agriculture, the same thing has to happen. The big brothers embrace those who are willing to be part of it because you cannot force them. They can be their own farmer.
Sure.
But it's very clear that many of them know that 1 hectare, 2 hectares, 3 hectares is not going to work.
Got it, yeah.
So they have to take at least 25 hectares, and then there's some chance. So hopefully, the private sector, with the government under BBM and Secretary Estrella and all of DA, we really come together. And I think it's getting there. And to me, I put my time in. I'm not a fan of agri. It's not something that I know well. I'm more of a brand builder.
Sure.
But I have to try to focus in this area because this is the most challenging area of every president.
Right. And what does President Marcos have to say about it? I mean, is he receptive to these ideas, or because as you said, he's interested enough in agriculture to be secretary of that department, but how does that connect with what you're trying to do to promote it and promote entrepreneurship on top of that?
We're in sync with whatever. We're just now waiting. Okay, now that these lands are cleared from debt and the tightly will be
forgave
fixed.
those loans.
So why don't eventually they have to parcel these lands to either cooperatives that are responsible and have a good track record, and maybe the big brothers come in. So that's 1,200 hectares I am told that they're clearing up, and then another 1,000 of the indigenous. So these are 2,000 hectares that can be deployed to the right entrepreneur or the right cooperative working with the farmers, and that to me is the solution. Well, that is and if that works, then agriculture will be at the different
You can
level.
take off, right? But when we talk about agriculture, it can be so broad, right? I mean, is there any particular part of it that you think should be or would be a good starting point? I don't know, is it in coffee? People talk about, they raised the possibility of durian when we signed that RCEP, selling it to China. I mean, what excites you?
For example, Nestle is supporting the coffee farmers.
Okay.
You've got Winston Oil down in the north with tobacco.
Yeah.
You've got Christian Moeller in coconut, but higher added value.
Right.
You've got Simon Baker on cocoa that's growing. But there are more of these people out there.
Right.
So if we can use these people as examples, especially in rice. Henry Lee Bonleong of SL Agritech. You've got James Amparo also in rice. So we identify them, and this is where I feel that government can use these people to help. Because it makes economical sense for them to scale up.
Sure.
And if the farmers are motivated that they see a future with these guys, it's like contract farming for chicken. Now, we used to be in that business.
Okay.
Now Tennyson Chen is the largest.
Okay.
So the contract grower is provided with whatever he needs: mentorship, equipment, capital, etc. And they produce the chicken. They grow the chickens for the integrator. No? So that model is not a new model. It's happening and has happened generations. So we just have to push more on that area. No?
And what do you think about the younger generation? I mean, in terms of mentoring them, what do you think may work? I mean, I know you have these almost weekend activities. Have you guys thought about maybe doing a more intensive type of mentoring, maybe even apprenticeship, where they will probably spend some more time with? Are businesses open to something like that, or is that what's needed at all?
No, in a mentoring event like last week, I mentored a 7-year-old kid who was doing reselling.
Okay.
Actually, I was shocked that he was reselling my kettle corn. So I said, "Why did you choose that?" Because he liked the product. So he started to be a reseller. So I asked the mother, "Are you sure you want him to be in that?" So we gave him the guidance. Okay, this is how you do it, etc., etc. There are many people come to me in the mentoring. Okay, they show me the product, a nice packaging design. They ask me, okay, do they sell it in supermarkets and malls? So these advices are what I call act on, because they already have a product. They know what to do. So many of these people, rarely do I see somebody come to me and say, I would like to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the wrong guy to talk to.
I see.
Think of an idea
They already
first.
have an idea.
You have to come to me with an idea.
I see.
But that's why we have those programs in KMME and CAMP and all of that helps you get that idea.
And going back to what other policies may be needed, some people talked about the Land Use Act. Is that something that's important to maybe promoting agripreneurship? Passing that law, is that something that you've thought about? Or?
Right now, we're not even in that area. We're hoping that the distribution of the land that has been cleared.
Okay, so still very basic.
Yeah, because the moment that it's done, that's 1,000, a couple of thousand hectares, no, that will be available for, and that's huge, no. So, and there are many others out there. So it's the land distribution now has to go towards block farming. No?
Sure. How do you encourage it? Is that something that can be done with law? Because the sad part, with agrarian reform was, from what I heard, some farmers eventually selling their land once they got their parcel, because they had the land but they had no cash, right, to buy food and things like that. Is there a way to encourage maybe that grouping, that clustering?
No, the president is focused on that.
Okay,
he knows that's the only way forward.
Yeah,
block farming is the way forward. The large scale farming is the way forward. Ideally, 24 hectares. Group them into a cooperative if they want to, or they work with a big brother. So there are many models, either cooperative or big brother or whatever. But the key there is they have to be financed by somebody. The financing institution will only finance if they see that the model will work.
Yeah. What about the capabilities of the people who are making up that cluster group? Maybe even the cooperatives. Sometimes the criticism there is that there are farmers, but they're not
correct
so knowledgeable about finance, about marketing, about R&D, and I guess this is where your mentoring expertise can come in, right? I mean,
they have to join cooperatives that are already experienced.
Okay.
And that's why I feel that they are better off joining Big Brothers because they have that network already.
Okay.
It's more well. And number two, there's too much democracy in a cooperative. Everybody has a vote, So you can see, I mean, even in clubs, there's all these issues. But here, if there's one boss and you follow, and contract growing for chickens and everything, even banana, they all work. So I think that's the way forward. There are good cooperatives, don't get me wrong.
Right.
There are good cooperatives, and maybe they have to be very sure that they join a good cooperative.
Yeah. And some of those cooperatives, I think one at the ASEAN Business Awards in Jakarta that you attended, that was quite surprised. Some of them are quite big, but I think, I was just wondering if you think that there's some things could be changed. Like, for example, what Secretary Dar, when we were talking, was saying that maybe some of the farming cooperatives can be more involved or could be more involved with the Department of Agriculture, because there are peculiar things in the agri sector that may not be suitable for like the Cooperative Development Authority to look at or to help them with. Do you see that sort of tweaking that's needed perhaps, or some other thing that can be done?
It's a matter of either they put their own cooperative or they join an existing cooperative. They have to be sure that whoever they join is somebody with a good track record.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me, if I were to choose, I would think they'll be better off with the Big Brother directly.
I see.
Because we are telling our Big Brothers, you have to be responsible. You cannot shortchange the farmer, and that won't solve the problem. So you have to give him a fair share of what he has contributed to the business. And they all subscribe to that. And you've seen many of these guys will not reach this level of success if these farmers were not making money.
Yeah.
So all of them are doing well. And to me, in the end, without money, it's not going to move.
I like your imagery, the farmers driving a BMW. Sir, thank you very much for your time. I know how valuable that is. But before we go, maybe would you like to leave a message to our audience?
Well, I know some Filipinos believe that the Philippines may not get anywhere. If we think that way, then we will really follow that fate. But I believe that the country has so much great opportunities. There are so much challenges that we face, and that's life. No? We have to find a way how to solve these life challenges. And for us who are living a comfortable life, great. But what about those who are not living a comfortable life? And big business, I know many of you are helping, but maybe we need to help much more our MSMEs rise up. No? Because as we create prosperity for them, that prosperity becomes huge. Consumer spending will go up, the growth of this country will be seen, our GDP will go up, more money in the system. So an inclusive economy is going to be beneficial to definitely propelling the Philippines to be a respective country in ASEAN. We can't be always the laggards in Asia. The Philippines has to really shine. We have got great overseas workers sacrificing themselves, working abroad, away from family, and that just to be able to find a better future for the family. I think that has to hopefully change one day. Make the Philippines really their home, make them feel comfortable. It's a dream, no? But we have to have this.
It's a fantastic dream. Sir, I really wish you luck with it, and thank you again for your time. I'd like to thank our viewers watching this program, as well as those watching the replay. I'd like to thank Pastor Polo Kibuloy for making this program possible. This has been Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang, and I will see you next week. Sir, maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Yes.